Hey, I thought it was important here to take a few minutes on what is going on in Venezuela. I think most everybody understands my military background. If not, I am a 20-year Navy retired Command Master Chief. I also am running for Congress, South Carolina 7th Congressional District. And with what happened this morning, I want to do an overall view of what's going on here. I think we're moving towards that. We've become what we claim to fight against. Since the beginning, it has not been clear what our mission is in Venezuela. We've transformed almost into a violator of things. I don't know here. I think people understand that my objective, my view of the military is the military has one purpose and one purpose only: to kill people and blow stuff up with a clear military objective in mind. Kill people, blow stuff up, clear military objective in mind. I have had many problems when I was on active duty and since about this. We keep getting these conflicting statements from the administration. This is about fentanyl. Oh, wait a minute. Venezuela doesn't produce fentanyl. This is about cocaine. Okay, you just pardoned the former president of Honduras, who openly brought 400 tons of cocaine into our country. You pardon them, but you're attacking a country. You're blowing up boats in the water who are supposedly drug traffickers. Why? Why aren't we capturing them and interrogating them? Okay, we're becoming who we have professed to fight very, very quickly. Now, specifically, the big flick here. We do not have a clear reason that we're doing this. It is now regime change, but even if you think of that, we went in, we kidnapped the leader of a sovereign nation. It's actually up for debate, because we don't have all the details, whether that's a direct violation of the War Powers Act. What's not up for debate is his wife, who was also kidnapped, is clearly not an enemy combatant, not a drug trafficker, not any of those things that Maduro was indicted for in the Southern District. So problem number one, we snatched somebody's wife, and this could be somebody's husband if the wife was the leader, okay? Now, what it's a clear violation of is international law, which says you cannot go into a sovereign nation and grab their leader. Yes, he has ignored 2 elections. He is not duly elected. It doesn't matter. You can be the worst dictator in the world. You have to go through process to get that person out. But now they're out. We have created a massive void. We've already heard from many of our allies who we continue to alienate. France, violation of international law. I don't understand what we're doing here, because militarily, if we're going to blow stuff up and kill people, which we started months ago, why? No oversight, no input from Congress. One man is making these decisions, and a few people are cheering. I'm terrified by it. Let's look at this from all right? We can now say any dictator anywhere or anybody in any country can go get whoever they want. Now, I know this isn't unprecedented. We did this with Noriega in Panama. But we've done regime change all over the world, as have other countries. It almost never turns out well. This is clearly regime change. We kidnapped the leader. Who fills that void? Historically, someone worse than the guy we got rid of. But we still don't know the objective. If the objective is to get rid of the drugs coming into our country, Maduro doesn't control the drug trade in Venezuela. He has no control. He might be complicit, and I think he is, but he's not controlling it. So that doesn't solve the problem. Again, what problem are we solving for? There's something else going on here that we've seen domestically and now is going on internationally. And that's this whole word that this is a law enforcement operation. We're going to go somebody who has a bounty on his head and who is under indictment. So this is a law enforcement operation. If this sounds familiar, it was a law enforcement operation when we deployed active duty military to Los Angeles, including Marines who are trained in urban warfare. When you deploy, when you federalize troops, National Guard troops, under the guise of law enforcement, we again are totally out of the bounds of the military. The military is not a law enforcement force. It is a military force to kill people, to blow stuff up with a clear military objective. Not a peacekeeping objective, not a law enforcement objective. This is the mistake we've been making over and over and over again. Both Republican and Democratic administrations is to absolutely an aberration, all right? Many of these laws we've written, and now we're breaking them. We created the UN, and now we don't care what the UN says. Okay? It seems to me that what this is really about is the resources in Venezuela. Think about this. Invading a country under the premise of something else, killing Americans, threat to the world, in order to get to resources. If this sounds familiar, it's exactly what we did in Iraq. It's exactly the same. Weapons of mass destruction. We got to go in there. We got to save the world. It was actually about oil. Come on. This is the same scenario. And we're sitting here and some of us are going, whoa. And others are going, hey, you know, whatever. We are Americans. We can do whatever we want. So can the rest of the world. Now, let me zoom out here a little bit. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of this. I think everybody knows that I am a powerful believer in the Democratic Party and democratic principles. I am one of them that I believe actually is a core principle of the Democratic Party is fiscal conservatism. And that might be a bad word to a lot of people. It's not to me. I am fiscally conservative. If you're going to spend money, you have to cut money. We can't keep adding trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to this debt because we will bankrupt this nation. We will lose Social Security. We will lose Medicare. We will lose, South Carolina is a state that takes $38 billion more from the federal government than it pays to the federal government. $38 billion. Only 2 states take more money than that. We'd be bankrupt in a day. Okay, an exaggeration. In 2 weeks. We need to spend fiscally responsibly. Here's what you never hear with military deployments. What is it costing to move that fleet off the coast of Venezuela? What is it costing? Military is not free. In fact, it's very expensive. I'll tell you what it's costing. Conservatively, about $6 million a day. We're probably about $600 million into this. And by the time all's said and done, it'll probably be somewhere, depending on how long we stay, at least $1 billion to $1.5 billion. $1 billion to $1.5 billion. Nobody ever thinks of the money. We should have to justify that spending. People screaming about fiscal responsibility. People who have the nerve to say we shouldn't pay somebody $188 so they can feed a child, but they're fine with $1.5 billion of spending for absolutely no justifiable reason. Ask yourself if you're supporting this. What are you supporting? Are you supporting the ideas of one guy who's having whatever reasons? Or are you supporting an objective? If you're supporting an objective, what the heck is it? What's the objective? We're looking at something like $1.4 trillion in minerals. We are invading a country, essentially, or creating regime change, not for democracy, not because we give a crap about people. I'm talking the administration here, okay? If we gave a crap about people, we wouldn't have shuttered U.S. aid. If you want to know my view on that as well, and this is respect with Venezuela, and a bigger picture of a military, I'm actually somewhat of a military isolationist. And what I mean by that is we should project soft power. Ronald Reagan, soft power. We should help people in need. We should be the shining beacon on the hill for other countries. We should say we're here to help you humanitarian-wise. However, if you mess with us, if you screw with us, if a military objective is necessary to get you to stop doing something, we will use our overwhelming military might. But we will not use it at the whim of one person. That is incredibly dangerous, and it sets a precedent. We are not doing anything different than what Vladimir Putin did in Ukraine. Absolutely not. We're doing nothing different. We are attacking a country. Now, if you're saying, hey, there's not boots on the ground, that's true. That's fair. If we're saying, yeah, but why? Why did he attack? Why did Putin attack Ukraine? Wants the resources, wants the land, wants the people. He believes it should be part of Russia. We are now saying the whole Western Hemisphere is the property of the United States. Therefore, if we have a problem with a country like Venezuela, we are entitled to. We are not entitled to, folks. I really urge you to stop and think about this. We're going to spend over $1 billion to prosecute one guy, hopefully return his wife to her country of origin, because she hasn't done anything that I'm aware of. And we're going to have a vacuum in Venezuela filled by who knows what. And then what are we going to do? What have we achieved? Risking American lives, sending the military with no clear objective, pretending this is a law enforcement operation. When you hear military and law enforcement, be terrified, because they can come to any town USA to help local law enforcement. You won't find a bigger supporter of law enforcement than me. I've been working with them for 20 years. I've been instructing at chapters of the FBI Academy. Love law enforcement. Stand with law enforcement. Okay? So if you need more law enforcement, as we do in South Carolina, 7th in murder rate, 8th in violent crime rate, you bolster that. You bolster their resources. You help them do a better job. You don't say, let's bring in the military. Let's put a 19-year-old in the decision if he's going to shoot you because you threw a sandwich at him. Let him make that split-second decision. Out of bounds. So if you think I'm off target, I'm not off target, because what we're doing in Venezuela on the big flick, we are killing people who we don't really know who they are. By the way, let's talk 1 second about that second strike in September. We proudly publish 8, 9 people we're killing in fishing boats. I don't know. They're not military combatants. That's absurd. But, okay, we're publishing them. We're sending Fox News. Yes, we killed 8 more. In September, you know the only one they haven't published? 2 guys hanging on to a raft, or hanging on to a burning hulk of a fishing boat. We came back and we killed them. You haven't seen that video. In fact, it's been classified top secret, which tells you everything you know. We murdered 2 people. Okay? I'm a submariner. If we torpedo an enemy combatant, a real one, not a fishing boat, let's say an enemy destroyer, and that destroyer all but sinks, but part of it is floating, and there's 80, 90, 10, 12 people hanging on to that. They're out of the fight. If we launch another torpedo and sink that and kill them, that is murder. That is a war crime. Doesn't matter if you kill 2 people or 200. These are the things we're doing. These are the things we're normalizing for our veterans, for our service members, and for the country. We're making this okay. I implore you not to allow this to be okay. I know I've said it a dozen times, but I'm going to close with this. We have to hold our elected officials accountable for these things. It's not okay to say, I support this. Why do you support it? Why do you allow us to do these things? Why do you allow us to turn our active duty brave men and women who serve this country for not much of anything to be put in positions where they have to make decisions that they shouldn't be in position to making? Period. Why are you supporting that? And if you don't support it, make your voice loud, but be specific, okay? This actually isn't about, did we violate War Powers Act? I don't know if we did or not. Not enough information. We did violate international law. But the bigger picture here is, what is our military strategy? Look what's going on in Taiwan with the Chinese, basically doing exercises saying maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We have nothing over there. Nothing over there. You know why? It's off the coast of Venezuela. Why? Why is that a higher strategic objective than Taiwan? I don't know. And the arrogance of being able to send our brave men and women to do things at the whim of a person is an incredibly dangerous precedent. Don't stand for this. I'm running against a guy named Russell Fry. You know what he posted this morning? Yay! That's it. That's what he always does. And if tomorrow the president were to say, hey, we bombed the wrong country, we meant to bomb this country, he would go, yay! Total rubber stamp. If you're okay with having a tape recorder as a representative, I got nothing for you. Ask the question, who's going to actually say these things on the floor of Congress? I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. If you're even marginally supporting this type of use for our military, this type of projection of unlawful power because we feel like it, I am going to take you on. I thank you for joining me. I hope to be doing more live events. Hopefully some will be more interactive than this. But I don't want to take a lot of time. It's a Saturday. This was thrown together very briefly. We'll be doing live broadcasts going forward on multiple channels. but we'll be taking questions. Think of them as a virtual town hall. John Gregory Vincent, South Carolina 7. And you know what? Don't vote for an R and don't vote for a D. Vote for someone who's not going to take any crap and stand up for veterans and working families. Period. My agenda is to represent, not to stay in Congress. God bless. Thank you so much for joining.